Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to our HOP webinar here. So HOP stands for the Hertfordshire Opportunities Portal. It is a website and a series of social media platforms designed for young people and schools, particularly in Hertfordshire, because it will give you it's a one-stop shop for a whole load of careers resources that hopefully will help you to make those really crucial decisions that you will make as you go through your school and education system. The purpose of these webinars is to give you some real inspiration and information about particular careers. And today we are focusing on careers in visual merchandising. So I've got three fantastic panelists who I'm going to introduce you to very shortly, who will tell you over the course of the next hour or so, will tell you all about their own journeys, the courses and pathways that are available to get into careers in visual merchandising. And more importantly, those of you that are watching this session live at the moment, so it's 4:30 on Tuesday, you have the opportunity to put your questions to our panelists, so you can interact with them. Anything that you want to find out about them, anything advice you want about particular courses maybe that you're looking at, you can put them in there and then I can ask them. The way that you do that, just so you know, is on the questions tab on your dashboard on your screen in front of you. If you click on that, it opens out a text box. Within the text box, you can type that question in. That will come through. It'll only be visible to me, and then I will forward that question on. So we'll make sure that any questions that you've got, we can ask today. So this webinar will probably run through for about 45 minutes or so. It is being recorded, so if you can't stay until the end of it, then it will be available on our YouTube channel from probably tomorrow onwards, along with all the other previous webinars that we have run over the last few years. So again, do familiarize yourself with those, do tell your family and friends about it. But introducing our fabulous panelists that I've got for you today, I would like firstly to, there we go, welcome, Lindsay, she's right in the middle of the three there. So Lindsay, thank you for joining us. Could you tell everyone a little bit about you?
Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm a visual merchandiser and set design lecturer at Hertford Regional College. I run the level 3 programme for visual merchandising as well.
Thank you, Lindsay, and we'll definitely be interested to find out more about your career and some of the visual merchandising roles that you've done. Coming next to Liliana. Liliana, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. My name is Liliana Schvet. Everyone calls me Lily. It's easier. I'm the programme manager of the Foundation in Visual Merchandising and also programme manager at BA Honours Visual Merchandising and Promotion top-up year, both validated by the University of Hertfordshire, but obviously delivered at Hertford Regional College, Ware campus.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us, Lily. And then to Lorna. Lorna, thank you very much for joining us. Tell us, everyone, a little bit about you.
Hello, everyone. So I am an ex-student. A couple of years ago, I did the foundation degree. I then went out into the industry, and I also then came back when the level 6 course was introduced to do a top-up level.
Okay, thank you. Now, if we've bamboozled any of you by talking about levels, we're going to go through all of that. So we will talk about what those different levels mean, and we'll talk about all the pathways that you can take to get into your own career within visual merchandising. So, well, look, the first question is, I'm guessing people that are watching this largely know the answer, but I mean, Lindsay, let me ask you this question. What is visual merchandising?
So we best describe it as making the shop look pretty and attracting customers more, but it can also range from presentation within the store. So you can be dressing mannequins, you can be doing room sets as well. That would be part of a visual merchandiser's role, and it's just about enticing customers to buy more. So with how the world is living at the moment, we always want people to spend more money, which is money is tight at the moment, but as a visual merchandiser, that's our role, to make people buy more. So they might be going to buy a sofa, but it's adding more, like adding and buying cushions as an add-on as well, to make it more money being spent. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, I mean, Lily, this will link into some of your areas of expertise as well, but I mean, it sounds from what Lindsay's described there, sounds a lot like interior design, but maybe more in a commercial or retail setting.
People think visual merchandising is just window display. It's more than that. It's about engaging your customers, making them to have the amazing experience within the store as well. So the window is like the first attraction, you know, get them in, to entice into the brand. If it says, you know, if it's for, say, Gucci, once you're in the store, you need to make them want to look at fixtures and fittings. So it's very interior design. So it's spatial design awareness. You know, where does the till go? Where does you know, the shelving, the units, the whole display, the wall bay, the graphics. You're also creating a campaign is to promote the brand to the customer online and offline. People think visual merchandising is just physical, but it isn't. It's more than that. It's also online shopping, especially during COVID. You know, it's a big thing. You couldn't go to physical stores, but now it's all about giving the physical stores more of like theatre experiences. Is about enticing them. They're not just going in to shop for clothing or going into shops for products. They're going in to have a cup of coffee. You know, they're going in, you know, you have the interaction of making them stay longer in the shop. So it's coming up with some crazy ideas to keep them engaged and want to shop in any kind of like pop-up shops as well. People forget, you know, there's a new launch coming in for a brand. Okay, we need to create a pop-up shop. So it's thinking about lighting, the location, where would it work, where would you attract the customer, who's your target audience. So it's heavily into like furniture design as well. You know, you do furniture design, you do interior design, it's fashion and lifestyle as well. Because people forget, you know, visual merch, not just fashion as well, it's food. People forget supermarkets. You know, it's all about visual merchandising. You know, what deals are out there, how you're going to promote it, how you're going to entice, I want to buy that and I want to get that free as well, because we get free, you know, food as well. So it's more than just what people think what visual merchandising is about, it's spatial design as well.
Yeah, so I mean, we're all exposed to it, consciously or subconsciously, aren't we? So
you know, every day,
without even
realizing on, you know, social media. We design social media. You're there all the time. Influencers, you know, shoppers. You know, it's such a big thing at the moment. You know, it's not just physical as well. People don't forget visual merchandise. We do a huge amount. It's just about engaging the customers, making them want to buy, whether it's products, fashion, accessories. Yeah.
Sure. Well, look, Lorna, let me come to you. When did you first consider that visual merchandising was actually a career and something you were interested in?
Yeah, so at school, so I sort of did my A-levels and then wasn't sure where to go from then. And I say as a creative person, I sort of wanted something to apply my creativity to. So obviously, rather than doing like art or something, I thought this was more sort of careerable, if that's the word, but I could apply myself to this and actually make a career out of it.
Yeah, okay. And Celebrant, what A-levels did you do?
So I did art and design, food tech and geography. So a bit of a
Sure.
mix, but yeah, so I could apply those creative skills to visual merchandising.
Yeah, okay. Look, Lindsay, could you tell us a little bit about your career, I guess, prior to lecturing at HRC? What are the visual merchandising roles that you've partaken in?
So after I left at college to do visual merchandising, I gained a job straight away at Marks and Spencer's. I started at a small store in Enfield and then worked my way up to their flagship store at Marble Arch, and then even opened a brand new store in Stratford City. So that was while the Olympics was happening as well. So I was there for 5 years. And from working at Marks and Spencer's for 5 years, I wanted to progress into something else. So like maybe more project managing. So new store openings with that. So I went and got a job at IKEA in Tottenham, and I was there for 10 years, doing a bit of visual merchandising, project managing new store openings. Yeah.
Yeah. So, as Lily said, it's not just about fashion. That's what people. And I guess the other misconception is that visual merchandisers are only needed at Christmas. I mean, I guess that's the time when it feels most promominent. But, or Lily, just give everyone what. I'm sure it probably runs about a 12-month calendar, doesn't it?
Yeah, Christmas. So was that a misunderstanding? Sorry, was that? Do you want to repeat that again? Sorry, go.
Yeah, no, I guess there's this misconception that visual merchandising only happens in the 2 months before Christmas. But of course, I'm sure for most stores, it's
never stops.
Yeah.
When you work with an industry, especially in visual merchandising or any kind of interior or design agency, you know, you are planning a year in advance. You know, you're already planning Christmas already now in the summer for the following year. So it's a minor. So it's always busy at every time. Visual merchandising, you know, handle is important at any time. It never stops. Christmas is now minor. Actually, before it was a big thing, but now it's becoming less important. Before, you know, you see high department stores, you know, spending high budgets on these amazing windows, but now they're more focusing in-store fixtures and fittings now more than the window now. It's gone more into the retail design and the experience of retail. It's minor now in regards to big windows and showcases. It's more about the store now. That's why it's really good that we implement a lot of interior design and also prop making, set design. People don't realise visual merchandising. We are creative. We are makers. We are, you know, we do digital design as well. You know, we are all, you know, cover all elements of creative art and design. We do photography as well, because you could be designing a campaign, so you need to know your models, arrange models, do Photoshop, work with photographers. So the good thing about visual merch, you need to be a good team player, because you do work in a team for sure, and good communication, because you work with suppliers, you work with buyers. You know, there's some really core skills you need, you know, within the industry. And as you said, because it's everywhere, visual merchandising, it's really good because we've got really good industry links in our courses as well. We work closely with employers. As you said, we work with John Lewis, work with design agencies as well. People forget design agencies work with superstores and super brands in designing a theme for them within their stores. So we work with design agencies as well, not just stores.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so, well, I suppose just to name check one who I know you guys work very closely with, and we have as well, which is KJK Genix over in
one of the design agencies.
Just over there. So that's all part of that visual merchandising family, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. And we also, what's really good, obviously, with a college of ours is got, you know, we're one of the best excellence centre for, you know, British Display Society. There's not many in the country that offer any kind of courses in visual merchandising. There's only a few of us within Hertfordshire, inner London as well. So yeah, so it's very good course really, I'll say, as an industry really. There is a lot of opportunities what you can get into in visual merchandising as a career after. It's not just visual merchandising, you go into like event design, you can go into like graphic design, because it's visual communication, you can go into like spatial designer, so it's quite broad, it's not just windows.
Let me just pause. So I've had a question come in. And so, by the way, those of you that are watching this live at the moment, you do have the ability to interact with us. So on your dashboard, there's a questions tab. If you open that out, a text box will appear. Then you can type your question in. So we've had a question that's come in already, and it is, how creative are in-store visual merchandisers? Do they just follow a brief that's been created for them? Or
it varies brands really, doesn't it?
It varies.
When I was at Marks and Spencer's, I literally got given, okay, this is your paper, this is your brief, you have to copy it down to the T, with even shoes. But then IKEA was very free range, and you got to do what you wanted really. It was your design, you came up with your design for it. So it just depends on brand really.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you said that at M&S you were following a brief. So does that mean that every M&S in the country would have had similar layouts for them?
Yeah. But that was in store. So that came from obviously a head office team. They would be the ones designing it to send out to stores. But that was M&S brand anyway.
Sure. But we do have a lot of students who work in actual head office. So we have a lot of students who work in Tesco Superstore head office, and they actually completely design the whole safe. So it's very free. So it depends what field you want to go into. So if you're more of like the designer, I come up with the theme for that brand, then you are the designer and you're implementing. And the people that work within Tesco's, they will implement your toolkit, because you're the designer and head office that did the toolkit. What kind of products you want to merchandise, what is the theme, what's going to be the graphics. So it's two different pathways.
Sure. Okay. Lindsay, let me ask you this one, but Lily and Lorna, please do feel free to give me a response as well. What is the most enjoyable aspect of being a visual merchandiser? And then also, what's challenging about it? So what's the warts and all story to this? What should people also be aware of when they're considering whether this is the career for them?
Well, I'll start with the negative part of it. We'll say negative, it's if you like it or not really. There could be times where you may need to work through the night to implement. Obviously, you can't be doing big displays while the store's open with customers walking around. There is the very, very odd occasion where you'd have to work through the night for it, or on Sunday early morning before we started trading. So I suppose that's one of the downsides. So that's probably one of the downsides. It can be quite pressurizing with time as well. So you obviously have to work with a time schedule as well. So, you know, if you don't get it done in that time, then it's not very good for the company. But I would say the most enjoyable part is seeing your end result and seeing how hard you've worked on that display, and to have customers walk past and say how nice it looks. And yeah, it feels very, very rewarding at the end of the job as well.
Sure. Okay. I mean, Lily, and then I'll get Lorna's take on this as well. Lily, you must talk to lots of new students, and I guess prospective students as well, who are looking at this one. What are sometimes the misconceptions they have about what visual merchandising is that they would soon learn quite quickly?
It's quite interesting. They're straight away, when they think visual merch, they think fashion. They straight away think fashion, mannequins, and obviously clothing, accessories. But they don't think that actually visual merchandising is food. Visual merchandising is products, you know, like beauty products, layouts, you know, spatial design. They just think fashion straight away, but it's not. It's more than that. It's any kind of products that you are trying to sell and engage the customer to buy. You know, even to a car, you know, that is a product. Everyone wants a fast car. You know, you create an exhibition stand. You know, how are we going to promote this brand new car that's just come in? It's electric. You know, you need to be able to be creative and able to sell, visually communicate to the customer. All product, but straight away they think fashion. It's not more than that. Visual merchandise more than just fashion.
Yeah, even DIY stores have got VM teams like Homebase, B&Q. All behind that, someone is putting out how people see around the shop and displays and everything. So most shops, if someone is behind all that.
Sure. Okay. I've had a really good question that's just come in as well. So again, I'll let all three of you answer this one, and because I'm sure you'll all have three different answers. But how many hours a week do you work? Is it like a normal working week? So I mean, Lindsay, you spoke about very occasionally you might be expected to work through the night for Sunday morning, but generally, what are the working hours?
No, you would have your contracted hours, so most of them are full-time positions. They do have part-time positions as well, but it's very rare to hear that. So you would have the contracted hours of 36, 37 hours, 40 hours. And then it's in that contract if you'd work, maybe it could be every other weekend you might be working, or 1 week in a month as well. Or you could do the odd occasional through the nights. That would all be in a contract. So, yeah.
Sure. Okay. Lorna, a question I'm keen to ask you is, as a visual merchandiser, can you ever switch off from it? I mean, do you ever walk into a shop and think, oh, why have they put that there? Or I like how they've designed that.
No, you don't. Once you learn all the tricks and like the details, you look around and you can't stop but think, oh, could have done that. Oh, I know how they've done that. No, you don't switch off very often. Yeah. Even going out to London for fun, you end up looking at the windows and layout.
Yeah. So I guess that curious mindset is important. I mean, we're talking about stores where they have like in-house people who are full-time visual merchandisers, but I guess equally smaller stores where it's maybe only run by a couple of people, where they don't specialize in it, they have subconsciously at least got to think about how they lay their store out, haven't they, as well? Is that something you're quite conscious of?
It depends, because some independent stores do have freelancers. Some you know, they invite, you know, they work with freelancers, because we do have some ex-students are visual merchandisers freelancers. So they could do, like, you know, local independent stores could contact them if they do, because obviously what's really good about the British Space Society, you can promote yourself as freelancers. So like local stores are joined to that. We're part of a membership as well. So like local stores can contact visual merchandising consultant for any advice. So they can ask for advice as well.
You also get area visual merchandisers, so that someone might be in charge of a few stores around a part of London where they don't want to have a whole team per store. So you will go around and have your own responsibilities in each store, or talk with sales about how they can keep on top of the displays. So there's a lot of variations.
Yeah. And another question that's just come in. and it's, well, I suppose it's probably to you, Lindsay, because I think you answered this question, is have you ever challenged a directive you've had from head office about a layout?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's been probably times where I've challenged head office or even a store manager, but at the end of the day, if the head office have looked in, there's a reason behind why they've chose to do what they've done in the first place. There's a lot of process involved in it, so they would have spoke to a buying team, they would have spoke to a lot of varied different teams to get that display in place in the first place. So as much as what you can challenge them, you probably still got to listen to head office unless you're doing the display yourself. You come up with the display yourself, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, Lily, within your course, would you be talking to students about when it's right to challenge the instructions you get, or is it very much follow the guidance and do what you've been told?
Oh, no, definitely. Obviously, even my experience in John Lewis, I remember we had the manager store, we did a display and they walked around, checking all this clean, dusting, looking at the surfaces. And then to the point we had to redo the whole lot again because they weren't happy. So it's like, here we go, starting from the beginning. But obviously, you do need to express your opinion as well. Like, you never know, sometimes the students, you never know, your idea could be better. Don't be scared. If they end up saying, no, sorry, we're going to follow this toolkit, at least you've asked. You've asked. And then, I had experience with students, working at John Lewis, and they actually suggested certain, how about we display it this way, and they actually listened to them and actually worked out better than the actual toolkit. So I wouldn't, the whole point of it, don't be scared. No. You need to speak out. Yeah. The answer is no, it's no, but you asked. One day someone's going to say, yeah, go ahead and be free. Yeah. You need to ask, for sure. Otherwise, you won't get yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, this question now, I'm guilty because I asked Lorna this question. I didn't give Lindsay and Lily the opportunity to answer. So it was when and how did you know you wanted to go into visual merchandising? So, well, Lily, do you want to have a go first of all? Because you obviously sort of came in from a slightly different route, didn't you?
How did I get into visual? Obviously, my background, I studied in, a degree in interior design and furniture design, and obviously always liked shopping, as everyone likes shopping. But obviously, it slowly went into it really, because obviously visual merchandise is not just about windows; it becomes shop layouts. So it's all about interior design, fixtures and fittings.
You still got to have the eye for it.
You do have to have the eye, what looks right, colour palettes, the whole vision, how it's going to look. So for me, I just slowly went into that direction of visual merchandising, but it all links really.
Then BM would lead you into
interior design. So it's all about layout and composition and colour palettes, what's going to work, what's not going to work within a space or within a window, really. So that's how I got into visual merchandising, really.
And Lindsay, when was the first point when you can remember thinking, visual merchandising, that's something that's I'm interested in?
Every year as a child, I used to go to see the Christmas windows in Oxford Street. And I used to look at Selfridges windows and think, I really want to do that. And even from as young as 8, I knew that it was a job that I wanted to do. And I said to my mum and dad, I want to do that job when I'm older. And they said, oh, how do you even think about a job like that at your age? But it pulled through, so I ended up actually having a career in it. So,
yeah, great. Okay, so that's some sort of
the course, the visual merchandising course at Hertford Visual College, especially the level 3 course that started, has been here for 70 years. Just shows you how visual merchandising is still continuing with us every day.
Yeah. That's it. Well, that's a really good segue, actually, Lily, because the next sort of section of questions I was going to ask is, what are the pathways into becoming a visual merchandiser? And as you've already alluded to, HRC has a really innovative course that normally I'd be saying on these webinars, well, look, we've got 4 colleges across Hertfordshire and we make sure that we promote all of them. But I know this one is a very unique one. So first of all, tell us, thinking about students who maybe would be about to finish year 11, so just finishing their GCSEs, what courses are available for them? And then just kind of work your way up to the foundation degree.
So that would be with me. So straight from school, once you've done your GCSEs, you would come to do a level 3 in visual merchandising and set design. And that's equivalent to 3 A levels. which would give you UCAS points to go on to university afterwards, or you could get a job straight away after leaving for your level 3, or you could go straight onto your levels as well afterwards.
Yeah. So after the level 3 course, if they decide that they're not ready for the industry, they can obviously do a foundation in visual merchandising, which is the first 2 years of a degree. It's validated by the University of Hertfordshire, but obviously delivered at Hertford Visual College campus. Then if they feel like they're not ready to go straight, because obviously some students do go straight to the industry after the foundation degree, they may have the experience in the industry, but they may decide to come back and do a BA honours by signing a promotion. That we do have a lot of mature students already in the industry as well, working at John Lewis or working at Marks Spencer's or IKEA or other brands, there's so many brands out there in stores. They may decide, actually, I want to go more than just the shop floor. So they decide to come back and do the BA honours in visual merchandise, sign and promotion, because they want to go more into the head office to create the toolkit for retailers and other brands. Yeah.
So Lindsay, let me just come back. So what are the prerequisites to get onto your level 3 course? What subjects and grades would you need students to have got?
So we require 5 GCSEs, grade 4 and above. We like to have at least a grade 4 in English, and there's a lot of assignment writing to do for your PowerPoint display and stuff like that. But we would like a 4 in maths, but you can also retake it. So if you do not get a 4 in maths, then you can retake it the next year to gain your grade 4 and above in maths as well. But we also like subjects like art or photography or 3D or technology. We like to look at something like that, but it's not a necessity to have. But we just like to see a sort of like art, at least one art, qualification for it.
Sure. And then Laura, just remind us again, so as we're talking about qualifications and pathways, just talk us through what you did immediately after your GCSE. I think you said you went to Leventhorpe School, wasn't it, up in Sawbridge, Worthwich?
I went to Leventhorpe. So from my GCSEs, I did then my A levels, which I continued with art, food technology and geography. And then once I'd finished that, you obviously go around and see where you want to go next. And then I chose to come to HRC to do foundation degree after A levels.
Sure. Okay. So I think it's a really important point to point out. So at HRC, you can actually study your foundation degree. So the equivalent of going to a university. You can actually go and do that at college, which I think not many people often realise. I often think that colleges are for level 3 courses is only. But you did that. I mean, Laura, if you could go back again, thinking back to when you were choosing what you were going to do in 6th form, do you think you'd have gone and done the level 3 course at HRC straight away, or are you pleased you did the A levels just to broaden your options and horizons a little bit?
I think, yeah, because I think at that point I wasn't 100% sure when I was picking whether to do sort of college or A levels. I wasn't 100% sure, so I stayed on and got some A levels, because then I could still come back and pick again after that where I wanted to go. So you've always got time and options.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, Lindsay, if you were talking to someone who's, perhaps year 10 or year 11 at the moment, they really want to go into visual merchandising, what would you be saying to them about sort of subjects they really should focus on for the GCSEs? And you kind of answer that by saying that English is important. But what would you suggest to them as, I guess, alternative options?
Definitely picking subjects like art, textiles as well, photography, fashion, anything which is related to the job. Graphics as well.
Photography. It's a range of creative subjects, really.
It's just getting us started to the process of what visual merchandising is about as well.
Design tech, because they do design tech as well, depending on what school you're at. So even like design tech, it's like 3D design, design technology. A range of creative subjects, really.
Okay, and then Lily, I suppose I better ask you as well, just to explain, what do we mean by a foundation degree?
So it's a foundation, basically it's the first 2 years of a degree, of a BA honours degree. And what's good about it really with the foundation degree, it's it's more like finding out what avenue do you want to do within visual merchandise. As I said, it's not just windows. So, you know, you could do a bit of design, interior design, a bit of photography, a bit of like fashion promotion, styling, a bit of marketing. So it's having a range of different fundamental skills related to visual merchandising. Really, it's not just having a BA honours in specifically graphics. So that's why we call it foundation, because you do a range. They do a bit of graphic design as well. They do a bit of video editing, because you could be part of putting together some kind of campaign for a brand to put an advertisement together. So that's what foundation degree is about, really. It's the first 2 years of a degree, and then you've got the top up here. Your top up to what BA honours. Is it going to be BA honours in marketing? Is it going to be a BA honours in visual merchandise, design and promotion, or BA honours in interior design? Because a foundation in visual, you could go into interior design pathway, spatial design, store layout. So yeah, so it's giving options.
So Lorna, what did you do once you'd completed the foundation degree? Have you done a top up in any of those areas?
No, so the top up was only available up in Liverpool, I think, at that time. We didn't have it here. So I went out into the industry. I also worked at IKEA for a few years, and then I came back when the BA level was available, because I just wanted to top up my level again and have that as a whole degree. So I did university, industry, back to university, and then I'm now getting myself back out into the industry.
Sure. And then
because I forgot to mention, the foundation degree as well is all about working with employers. I mean, we work closely with employers. That's what foundation degree is about. It's also written by our employers within visual merchandise, work experience. So we do rely on a lot of work experience on the foundation degree, and that's how Lorna really got into IKEA, is because of having the opportunity of work placement, and they obviously had a job offer. So then she applied after the foundation degree. So it is really preparing them for industry, really, the 2 years of the foundation, not so much about the top up here.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, there may well be some, if you've got any questions about any of the courses you just heard described there, or you want a bit of guidance on subject choices, then please do let us know. Do put those questions in. Lily, so you've obviously worked with lots of students over a number of years on these courses. Not so much about the qualifications or the grades that they get, but what are the sorts of common personality traits and attributes that a really good student and visual merchandiser will have?
Good communication skills, good team. You've got to be a good team worker, problem solving, able to, you're on the spot. Oh my God, we've got no more props left. What we're going to do? So you've got to be quick thinker, problem solver, 100%, and also willing to make mistakes, because you learn from your mistakes, whether you work on a shop floor or in head office. That's the key. You need to be willing, because you learn from your mistakes. People forget, but you learn that way, and you know what not to do next time. Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, and and also pay attention to detail, because obviously we do like pay attention to detail. It's got to look perfect, but that's the majority. Yeah, I would say definitely. And willing to try new things. Always willing to try new things. Don't be scared.
Sure. I'm sure you as a department take particular pride in having the best backdrop at HRC as well, don't you? Making sure that it's the best presented corridor in the building. Yeah.
Look good.
Yeah.
That's our job.
Yeah. The other thing that I'd like to know is, now I'm sure everyone would love to go and get their work experience working at the local M&S or IKEA, and of course not everyone's going to be able to do that. So Lindsay, what experiences could someone generate for themselves just to help them understand whether visual merchandising maybe is for them or not?
It's even like at home, you could raise your kitchen cupboards and just do a little small display with glasses and china. You could start off by that. I know you could even try asking in charity shops to see if you could help out there as well. It's just about seeing what's out in the actual real world as well, and just by doing research and looking at window displays in the high street, that's going to get your work experience even by looking at them as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So Lorna, anything that you'd perhaps add to that? Any experiences people could gain whilst they're perhaps physically in school, help them decide whether visual merchandising is right for them?
I don't know if they're too young to get a little part-time job, but even if it was, even if you're not doing an actual VM role in a store, being around that environment, you can get experience and see what goes on and how everything works.
Yeah, that's it. I guess, you know, as you were both saying, it's about being curious. So next time you go into, whether it's your local news agents or whether it's into big department stores, looking, well, what do they want us to buy? What's kind of right by the, I know, is it the front door? Is that the things they want you to buy the most of all, or the end of aisles?
Yeah. I mean, people forget, you know, even go to coffee shops, you know, things like how they bakeries, how they display, you know, do they make you want to buy them cookies, you know? It's how they display it, the fixtures and fittings they use, you know, the packaging, the graphics, you know, how they communicate you know, to want to buy them. I want them cookies with my cup of coffee, you know? It's about engaging the customers. That's how you can get experience. Working in even garden centres. People don't forget garden centres, part-time jobs, that's all, you know, visual merchandising.
Yeah, that's it. Well, so, yeah, well, I suppose when you're in the school canteen tomorrow, just look at what is most prominent on the counter there.
Yeah. Even to like the reception areas, when you walk through the door, you know, does it make you feel comfortable? Does it make you want to look at the brochures? You know, it's like, is it attracting you soon you walk through that door?
Yeah, I mean, just another thing for you guys to think about on a day-to-day level. When you have your open days at HRC and you've got prospective students and parents coming to look at the different courses, I mean, are you a step ahead of all your other faculties there, that you know how to promote and how to prominently display some of your subject areas?
Yeah, I think people like coming to see us on the open night. It's always something to see, isn't there? We will always try and have a window display completed by the students, just to show what work is involved in the course as well. So yeah, probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. Right, next sort of section of questions, then hopefully we'll come through to any more questions that you have got. So if you're watching this live at the moment, again, do get your questions in. We've asked a few of them already. They've been really good questions, so don't be shy. So really, we just want to know what the prospects are for visual merchandising. I mean, I guess we keep hearing that increasingly consumer shopping habits are being taken online rather than actual in person. That's certainly not my experience walking around sort of shops and being in the West End in the last week or so. But is there still going to be demand for visual merchandisers in 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future?
Yeah, for sure, because it's mainly going digital, as you say, but there still will be stores on the high street anyway. I don't think we'll ever come to a time where there'll be no shops on the high street. So yeah, I think it's more about it becoming digital in store rather than getting rid of stores. Yeah. The stores are bringing a lot of digital stuff into them, so you might find mirrors that you don't actually have to get changed, all that sort of stuff. Rather than posters, it will be screens. So it's just,
definitely become more of a digital.
So you still need someone to run the visual aspect of the store, even if it's just digitalised a bit more.
Yeah. Well, Laura, let's bring you in here as well, because you said you completed your study in the, I think, summertime, and I know that you're looking for opportunities at the moment. What do you think's next for you? What sort of things specifically are you looking for?
So I'm looking more into either sort of like a head office role or the company you mentioned earlier. We've worked with KGK, so sort of companies like that where a store brand might come to a different company, because then I feel like that's got a lot of variety, getting all the different brands coming in with all their different briefs. So I'm looking more for that sort of planning level.
Sure. So you want to be able to tell people like Lindsay what socks to put the mannequins in, and which angle to turn them at. Lindsay, I know you're very happily lecturing now at HRC, but if you were going to go back into industry, what things would you be looking at, or where do you think what are the trends? Where are the big opportunities coming up?
I suppose it's quite hard. We've working 15 years on the shop floor. I think my time had come to a time with that, really. I would probably go back into a head office role and looking at a more layout and store presentation as well from that.
Sure. Okay. I mean, Lorna, maybe what you've just said disproves this, but would most people who go into head office have had experience on a shop floor first before going into head office roles?
Not
Always.
100%, but I think it would benefit to have it so
Yeah.
that you do, again, you understand the running of the store. You
Yeah.
understand you can't just put that there because that's not commercially right. I think it's important to have the actual retail shop experience and then move up, just so you can understand what's going on.
Sure. Lily, I mean, let me ask you the question. So someone perhaps like Lorna who starts as a visual merchandiser on their career journey, what are the natural pathways? I mean, you spoke about coming from, I guess, interior design, but does it happen the other way around as well? Are there other obvious pathways that people will branch out to?
Yeah, you can go into exhibition designer, you can go into, as I said, already mentioned, interior designer, you can become an actual buyer, you know, set designer, you can become more of like, you're more interested into the buy-in side of it as well. If you're at head office, you're buying the products and making the right choices of product for the brand. You probably want to go more into like the marketing side of it as well, people more interested in the marketing side of it. It's a lot of avenue what you could really go into, really. Some students, or you know, as a career may be interested in like fashion promotion, doing more of the fashion promotion side of it, styling. So all they're doing is styling the product to arrange, and then they have photographers taking the shoot for the advertisement or the websites. It's down to the individual what's going to inspire them, really, as a career.
For sure. Okay, but it sounds like there's plenty of pathways in there, and I guess it's reassuring to know that you don't see retail as being a dying industry, and that there's still going to be that.
Different departments within different stores and different, you know, Tesco, you have marketing team. Then in the Tesco head office, you have like the buyers, and then in Tesco head office, you have the visual merchandisers. Then you have the retail designers. So it's it's big out there, and what department you can work.
But as a visual merchandiser, you would cross over with departments as well. So you would work alongside a buyer team. Yeah. You'd work as store designers. So yeah, you'd link in together really with each other.
I think you've all mentioned or alluded to the fact of around digital visual merchandising as well. So one of the webinars we ran earlier this term, we talked about careers as a web designer. So are there virtual merchandisers who specifically provide input to companies' websites and know where to place things on there digitally?
Yeah, because there is obviously some students may decide to go that avenue to work with web design. You know, think about online shops. You know, think about apps. You know, even visual merchandisers are actually designing the apps as well for certain brands. So yeah, digital. You know, they're all involved in supporting with key pieces, promoted online. So it's definitely working with websites and social media as well, designing posts for certain brands. So yeah, very digital now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, it's interesting to hear how it's all connected. So we did web design. We also did a webinar 2 weeks ago around working in social media and communications as well, where there's going to be some crossover as well.
Visual merchandise do go into social media. That's something very, it's one of the pathways as well.
I was going to say another thing while you're looking around is if you look at a website or social media posts and the shop, you might start to see all things that link together, and you'll be like, oh, that's similar to what they had on the website. So that's also how it all links from sort of digital to physical. It all links together and someone's all sort of behind it, looking at it all.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, well, look, we've got time for a couple of questions that have come in. So if you're watching this and you've got any more questions, do get them in now, because we are going to be wrapping up fairly shortly. So a question that's come in is, I don't know specifically to any of you, so I'll let you all answer this one. What really annoys you about bad designs within shops? So is there one particular thing? So I think, Lorna, you said that you'll often look around and you think, oh, I like the way they did that, or I'm not quite sure about that. But is there one thing in particular that really annoys you, or when you think maybe someone hasn't quite got this right?
One of the things I can think of straight away would be, so you get all your lovely designs for this display and you go to do it, but there's not someone somewhere hasn't planned the stock maybe, or it's been so popular it's blown out before you've even had a chance to do a display. So you'll find you haven't got any stock left, and it's a bit like, oh, who's planned that?
Sure. I mean, Lily, what about for you? Is there anything where you think I need to go and see the manager and tell him to get all of his staff onto our course?
What bugs me the most is when I see a mannequin dressed and then I see the prices and swing tickets hanging out of them, in the wrong places. It's like, can you hide them away? Pay attention to detail. You don't want to have, you've got a nice jumper and then you've got a tag hanging out, half hanging out. It's got to look perfect. Yeah, swing tickets. Mannequins, hide them. Don't show them.
Okay, Lindsay, anything else to add to that?
No, it's the detail. It's the details. I think that's what you tend to pick up on once you've got a basic knowledge. That sticks for you forever is your basics, really.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you said kind of the whole premise of this is it's getting customers to buy things that otherwise they either didn't want to buy or didn't think that they needed. So on the flip side of that, and Lindsay, I'll ask you this question first of all. Are you already aware of those tricks in place? Do you think, do you know what, I really can't spend any more money this month, and therefore I'm going to have to blank out what I'm about to see?
Well, there's only so much you can try and push a customer to buy in the first place, I suppose. But you'd be surprised by just doing the little extras, what you do, how much customers will buy from just the little extras, really, that you've put in place. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm fascinated and equally scared to know that there's this much science that goes into it. And if I check all my receipts from the last couple of months as well, I'll probably find out that I've been subjected to it. Right. Look, just before we wrap up, then a couple of websites there. So, I mean, Lily, you already mentioned the British Design Society. Do you just want to tell us a little bit about them and what they do? And that QR code on your screen at the moment, that would take you directly through to their website.
Okay, the British Space Society is obviously a connection. It's like a Facebook of network where you have department stores are part of the members. So we obviously students at the college, because soon they sign up to the level 3 courses and also the other courses we offer, straight away our students are part of the membership straight away for the British Space Society, and they can get free publicity to promote their work on the magazines for Visual Merchandising Spotlight, to get the students' work out there already, and networking straight away with industry, because it's a hub full of visual merchandisers are all members. So it could be for some like a North Bank retail company, KGK Genix is part of it. So it's a range of design industry, and John Lewis, Mark Spencer are all part of the British Space Society, that you can actually find jobs as well, which is a good hub for our graduating students and our level 3 students who can find job opportunity on there. You can also sign up as freelancers, consultants, find out consultants to help with local independent stores if they're looking for visual merchandisers as well to support them. So it's a really good network for future students as well to become part of that member. And obviously we are part of the Excellence Centre there's only a few within UK as well, which is London College of Fashion, and also internationally as well, like Dublin, I can't forget now, internationally, Hong Kong, and I can't remember the other place as well, but they've got various excellence centres they support who actually deliver visual merchandising within different levels of courses. So yeah.
Sure. Okay, and then Lindsay, I've got the QR code there through to your courses page at Hertford Regional College, so people can obviously have a look at that. But what are the other ways that people can find out more about the courses that you offer? Have you got any open days coming up, or what if people just want to come in and sort of have a look around? What would they need to do?
Yeah, we've got open days throughout the year. Our next one will be in February. So it's probably good to actually come in and have a look at what courses we offer as well. You'll be able to talk to us a bit more as well about the courses. But you'll be able to see examples of work what the students produce. And I think by just seeing that, sometimes it makes you think, actually, I like the idea of that, and I can probably do that. So yeah, come to one of our open days next, and then we can see you from there as well.
And hopefully there'll be students as well, you can ask questions. Sometimes, it's good to speak to the students.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, well, look, I think that probably just about wraps us up for today. So firstly, thank you for all of you that are watching, particularly those of you that are watching live and have submitted some questions, and actually some really lovely feedback that we've had come through as well. So really appreciate you coming home from school, particularly this close to Christmas, and then logging in to the webinar to participate in that. Thank you also to all of you that are watching this subsequently as well. I don't think anything that we've discussed today is going to go out of date anytime soon. It is a fairly timeless piece of careers guidance that you just watched here. But more particularly, let me thank our 3 panelists who have given up their time to join us today. So to Lindsay, to Lily, and to Lorna. And Lorna in particular, let me wish you all the very best with the next steps of your career. Sounds like you've got a very, very good grounding there. So I'm sure you'll be doing great things in industry very, very soon. Let me just leave you all with just a reminder about the HOP page as well. So do have a look at it if you're not already familiar with it. The QR code on the top left will take you through to our library of all our previous webinars that we've recorded. So as I said, we've done web design, we've done communications and social media this term, of which there's some relevant. We also did interior design, but I think maybe a year or so ago now. So there's lots of crossovers there. So I guarantee there's about 100 of these videos now. So there is definitely something for everyone in there, and we genuinely do think these will help you take those next best steps in your career. So to my panelists, again, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you joining us, and we wish the rest of you all the very, very best with your future career steps.
Thank you. Bye.